Well, take a look at this chart. Now, this is OceanaGold versus the global gold index on the TSX. Now, gold miners, of course, have been getting hammered in recent days, but until recently, Oceana was still up. Its stock's only down around 4% in the past year. That's a multi-year chart. You can see the way OceanaGold has blown away the broad gold index. Our guest is Michael Wilkes, CEO of OceanaGold. Great to see you.
Good to be here, Andy. Thank you.
Now, you mine gold in New Zealand. You've been doing it for years. We were making cheap jokes before you came on about hobbits and stuff like that. You're not employing dwarves there in New Zealand, I guess.
No, we're not. No, they're serious miners. That's
Okay.
for sure.
I'm sure they are. I wouldn't like to call them dwarves to their face.
No.
But your big growth is in the Philippines. You're ramping up a big project there.
Yeah, that's right. We've been operating in New Zealand for 22 years. We're the largest gold miner in New Zealand. We run a very efficient, lean operation there. And our growth is in the Philippines. We've just finished the construction of a very low-cost operation there called the Didipio, and that's now in commissioning and soon to go into production. And that will basically transform our company from a New Zealand gold miner to a multinational gold miner and drive our costs down and our production up.
So you're looking at production that could go as high as 325 ounces this year, 325,000 ounces this year,
yeah,
right?
That's right. It's about a 30% increase in production.
And you reckon this year about 70,000 ounces that will come from the Philippines?
Yeah, 50 to 70,000 ounces of gold is our guidance out of the Philippines, and commissioning is going very well, and we're on track to deliver that production this year.
And say 5 years out, where would you see your production?
Well, we have a vision for growth, but focused on value, and we want to grow to become a mid-tier producer with 4 or 5 operations, supporting a 500,000 ounce production a year. But focused on driving our cash costs down and delivering on value to our shareholders.
And that's the theme gold investors want to hear about these days, keeping the costs down. You know, how cheap can you produce? Oh, there's your assets in New Zealand. You don't think of New Zealand as being a big producer?
We produce around 250,000 ounces a year out of New Zealand from 3 operations, 2 open pits and 1 underground mine. And so we're a sizable gold producer. And New Zealand's got 1 other gold mine in the north, which is run by Newmont, an American company. But we're by far the largest producer.
So it's not, is it a very prospective place for gold, or is it just spotty?
It's a bit spotty. I mean, it's not the most prospective. The Philippines is very prospective, which is why we're there. It's more of a frontier for gold, for mining companies in gold and copper. And the Didipio project will give us that sort of first mover advantage to do more in the Philippines.
Now, Citi likes your stock. They have a buy on it. Now, they did there in mid-January, but they say you've got quite a bit of debt. Now, you did a financing to bring that down, but you're still fairly levered. Does that tie your hands at all?
Well, this year is about, now that is focused on delivering Didipio cash flows and using that cash flow to consolidate our balance sheet, repay the debt and position ourselves for future growth. So our opportunities will come when we deliver on the cash that's expected from Didipio, and continuing our operations and maximising the value out of New Zealand. So yes, it is about repaying debt. We have started doing that already this year, and we'll get ourselves back to the peer group in terms of leverage over the next 12 months.
I may have asked you this already. How cheap do you think you can mine gold in the Philippines? What was the number?
Our average cash cost for the first 6 years is minus $80 an ounce.
Nice. Because of the copper credits?
Because of the copper credits, it makes us one of the lowest cost producers in the world.
Is the drawback there you're not as leveraged to the gold price?
Oh no, we've got plenty of leverage to the gold price because of our New Zealand production, of course.
Yeah.
And we've got significant reserves in both New Zealand and the Philippines and great exploration potential. So there's a lot of exposure to the gold price. But being a copper producer as well as a gold producer now means that we do have some hedge, natural hedge there between copper and gold. The gold price goes up, the copper price goes down, and vice versa. So it's good to be producing copper as well as gold at the moment.
Now, I have to ask you, because the Fraser Institute here, they rank mining risk, and they have the Philippines at a pretty high risk place. Some regions of the Philippines have banned certain types of mining, and you yourselves, I'm looking at a Reuters story from early 2011, the Human Rights Commission in the Philippines apparently said the government should consider sanctioning you because apparently you'd violated the rights of indigenous people. You'd moved some homes. That's back in early 2011. Have you put that stuff behind you now?
Yeah, we have a very good relationship with the local community. We wouldn't have been able to build the project unless we had our social licence. Those are old allegations which have been consistently refuted by the company and found to be untrue. And we've moved on from there, and the company's in fine shape with our relationship with the community and with our social licence generally in the Philippines.
Yeah, so what kind of an area are you in there? Is it a remote area?
Oh, it's fairly remote, it's fairly rugged, but in a safe area of the Philippines in relative terms. The northern island of Luzon, north of Manila, is a fairly stable. In fact, it's an island with significant mining heritage. They've been mining copper and gold in that area for the last 100 years, going back to Spanish times.
So they don't have problems with gorillas and stuff like that?
No,
yeah.
We don't have any of those issues.
Well, we'll be watching closely. You've obviously beaten the gold index pretty convincingly over the past year.
Yeah, it's all about delivery and performance.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you, Andy.
Michael Wilkes is the CEO of OceanaGold. Let's have a quick